Happy Vlogmas, everyone. Day 12, 13, I think. Yes. So, today's happy positivity of my brain is weight loss. I know, like, well, duh. No, like, the fact that I'm losing again is a very big positive note in my book. And the fact that I'm feeling smaller. Like this coat I'm wearing now, I used to have to struggle to get past the girls, and now I can zip it up, pretty okay. It's a little less snug, and it's nice. Like I haven't felt that the inches move in a long time. That it's nice to start to really feel like things are progressing again, and that is definitely a nice thing to remember. I was feeling I've talked about this a lot with a bunch of people recently, but you lose sense of yourself when you have extreme weight loss, and the body dysmorphia is a real, is definitely a real thing, and I definitely see it. I had this conversation with one of my girlfriends as we were talking about, like, her daughter's sizes when we were looking clothes, and I was like, looking for them, and I was like, well, what size do they wear? And I was like, no, they don't. She's like, yeah, they do. And I was like, no, they're so much smaller than I am. And it's like, I don't see how small I am. Like, I know the size I am, but I don't see how small I am. And I think it's interesting because I still think of myself, I'm like, well, I'm still in the 200s, I'm still a big girl, I'm still like, I'm still really overweight, and this is when a lot of people start their journeys, and really, like, I am much smaller than I think I am. I really still see myself, I don't see myself as like where I started, but I don't see myself where I am. And that's definitely something I've been realizing, that I don't make those correlations, and how important they are, and how much I'm becoming aware that I am much smaller than I think I am, and that I do look different because I look at pictures of myself, and there's only one picture recently that really set the tone for me and made me really see. I did a comparison 2 weeks ago for Transformation Tuesday, and the before picture I used was not even from my heaviest. It was a, hey, look at me, I lost weight photo, and I was big. I felt like that was still pretty. I want to feel like it was like early on. Maybe I was about 50 pounds down. And you gotta love, early on was 50 pounds down. But it's also very interesting to me when a lot of people go like, oh, you're such an inspiration, you're so, like, all of these really, like, that I inspire and motivate people, and that I don't think of myself like that. And I am, but I don't think of myself like that. I always go like, oh, well, other people inspired me. Other people have had this, like, great journey and transformation. I don't think of mine. Jesus, guys. Everyone's, like, flashing their lights at me, and I'm like, it's barely dusk, people. It's barely dusk. But yeah, so I don't think of myself that way. I don't think of, like, I've had this, like, really successful and, great journey, but I've almost lost 170 pounds. That's pretty damn impressive. If somebody else told me that, I'd be like, oh, hot damn, that's super impressive. Like, oh my God, that's fantastic. But because it's coming from me, I don't think like that, and I'm starting to see that I'm starting to bring the brain around to that side, and that is my super positive, happy thought, is that I've done really well, and I'm bringing my brain to understand these concepts that I just didn't have. I wasn't able to understand. And, like, people talk about, like, how, like, I'll get a comment every once in a while on my Instagram about how, not like the everyday, like, oh yeah, great, fantastic, wonderful, but, like, really about, like, somebody reaching out and telling me what a huge inspiration and, you know, I am. And I'm just like, I inspire people? Like, I don't. And I'm not trying to toot my horn. I'm literally feeling like I'm so shocked by and touched by that I'm just like, I don't see my journey as magical and special as it is, and I need to come around to that. And every time that I think to myself, like, that, not putting myself down, just not seeing the big scope of things, I have to remind myself that nope, there's a big scope. There's a ginormous scope. I also have this thing where I realize that I am probably the smallest woman in my family now. And that baffles my mind. I used to be the biggest woman in my family, or either the biggest or damn tootin' close to the biggest woman in my family. And I'm no longer that. Okay. She's really young though. I don't think she's gonna be a big girl. I think she hopefully skipped that gene, but there might be one person who's smaller than me. But, like, it's a kid, so it doesn't count. I'm claiming that throne. No, it's just really weird for me to think of myself in these terms, to understand that there has been a paradigm shift and that this is the new reality, and it's weird. I'm posting, I don't know before or after this, but my weekly update, and I went to my nutritionist and she was beyond pleased at how much I lost in the 3 weeks. She set a 5-pound goal, and I exceeded it by 4 pounds, and she was like, that's fucking fantastic. And I was like, yeah, it's amazing what happens when you don't eat crap. Not that I was eating like crap, but I definitely wasn't, I was overeating on snacks and like filler, and I was like, I took out the filler and I focused on just eating veggies. But yeah, it's interesting. And it's even weird for me. I think what it really is that I thought I was really over this, but I guess not. Is like when I get like positive yeah, we're gonna say that word. Yep, not gonna happen. Nope, sorry. When I get positive reinforcement and positive comments, I literally just shy up and get really like uncomfortable because I don't know how to take them. And like even today, she was like super happy and super impressed, and I was like, yeah, I did my thing. I did my thing. Because I'm a super dork and I know it. But yeah, it's just, and to see that I'm magnified on so many levels, like, I have to remember, I'm slowly getting there. I am. I've been doing better at understanding myself and my surroundings. Body-wise, I'm having issues. I still feel like, and I see myself, and I still see myself as big. And literally, I just saw that one transformation picture I did, and I was like, holy fuck. Like, that really hit home for me. But none of the others ever really hit as well as that did. I don't know why. It just really hit home. And I also think I looked really skinny in my after picture, which is, I don't really feel skinny a lot, and that made me feel skinny. And I always remind myself that, like, my weight on me, like, being in the 220s on me looks so very different than the 220s do on most other people. My body proportion is really well distributed. And so I look a lot different than other people at my weight. I look a lot, and I've always carried my weight very well, and I've always looked smaller than I typically am, which, you know, says something for how actually big I was, because I looked smaller than I was, and I was pretty big. But yeah, so that's my little gem for today is my weight loss. Being happy and positive about my weight loss, being happy and positive about my body, and being and understanding and connecting my success and how it's viewed by others, and that it is like a big deal and a big success. So, rambly enough for you? Okay, guys. Bye.